What's up, YouTube? Just wanted to make a video about CRF250L. This one's a 16. I picked it up brand new. I think I got a decent deal on it. Got it for about 55 out the door. It's not extraordinary or anything, but not too bad for a brand new bike. So the point of the video is I'm trying to make is that I see a lot of people kind of think that the bike's worthless. I mean, there's not a plethora of people out there that think that, but there's a decent amount when you read through the forums. A lot of people just think that it's just not a very good bike. It doesn't really have a good purpose to it, but it does. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but for what you pay, I mean, you get a really decent bike. I mean, you're not going to go win any races or anything. You're not going to be able to go do some crazy jumps by any means. But I mean, if you want to go, you know, just riding through town or exploring someplace, I mean, it'll get you there for sure. It got me to a lot of cool places. I've ridden dirt bikes for a really long time. I'm 25 now, and I've been riding since I was about 9. And in no way am I a professional at riding bikes or making videos or a professional mechanic or anything, but I mean, I know how to turn a wrench, I know how to ride a bike, I know how to turn my cell phone on to make a video. So, but it's a decent bike. I mean, it's heavy. I'm not going to get into like all the specs on the bike because there's a crap ton of videos already out there that tell you about all the specs, but I can tell you that the bike is heavy. It's like right at around 320 pounds or so. So I really wouldn't recommend the bike to somebody who's really small or weaker. I'm 5'8" and a half roughly, and 5'9", 180 pounds, 70 pounds. And I mean, I'm like on the balls of my feet. When I get on the bike, I'm just right on the balls of my feet. Which I don't really care for. I prefer to be a little bit more flat-footed than what I am. But I've gotten used to it. So back to the weight issue. I mean, you don't really feel it when you're riding on the road or anything, but when you start to get on some technical stuff, that's when you really kind of start to feel it. It's not a dirt bike by any means. If you want something that's just straight off-road oriented, then you're best to just stick with a dirt bike for sure. But if you want something that, you know, you can take on the road and ride from your house on the road to the trail, it's a good bike. I actually, me personally, and this is all my experience, guys. I mean, like I said, I'm not a professional. It's just my opinions. And if you have a different opinion, well, I respect your opinion for sure. But I think that on the road, a little bit heavier of a bike isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, just in my experience, in my opinion, it seems like the wind can't push you around as much as if you were on like a real light bike. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I'm not a fucking scientist by any means. But yeah, the gears on it, it's got a 13-tooth front sprocket and a 40-tooth rear sprocket. I mean, the gears are pretty freaking tall. Again, not necessarily a bad thing for the road. As soon as you start climbing up some hills or going through some deep mud or whatever, I mean, you start to feel how light the gears are. I haven't done much to the bike really at all, but I got 1,000 miles on it, and I kind of wanted to get a feel for the bike the way it is when it comes out of the box before I go changing a bunch of stuff. I've changed exhaust and sprockets on other bikes, dirt bikes, and it made a huge difference, so I know that it'll make a difference on this. Like I said, I put about 1,000 miles on it, just straight out of the box. Haven't really done anything to it. And like I said, it's good. It's good. Like I said, you're not gonna go win any races or anything. Another thing about jumping is the suspension is super soft. I mean, really soft. I've done I've jumped the bike, and I've had it bottomed out, and it wasn't anything super crazy. I'll try to post pictures and videos later in this video so you can see what kind of jumps it was. But it completely bottomed out, and I haven't had very many problems with the bike. One problem was the front forks, and I definitely attribute that to jumping it. The front forks were leaking at like 500 or 600 miles, and I took it back to the dealer, and they fixed it for me. They rebuilt the forks. Something I'd like to do is ship them off to Race Tech, and I know that would make a huge difference. Freaking birds. Yeah. And then another thing is the tires. My God, these tires they're pretty bad. I mean, they're coming along, they're lasting a decent while for the road. I mean, they're great on the road, but the second that you get into some mud or anything, I mean, they're worthless. They're freaking worthless. And you get out on sand or wet sand or wet dirt, mud, I mean, they'll just wash out on you. I mean, it's freaking scary. It's real scary, but they're wearing pretty good. I mean, it's got 1,000 miles on it, and guys, I haven't been easy on the bike. I mean, I'll go out on the road, and, you know, I'll take it easy on the road. I mean, you can't exactly take this thing and go hardcore on the road straight out of the box. But when I take it off road, guys, I take it off road. No, I haven't gone through anything like really crazy, but I've gone through some pretty gnarly shit. So I'll post pictures and videos to see what kind of stuff I've gone through, and it's gotten me through it. That's the one thing that I was saying, was that a lot of people think that the bike just can't do anything. It seems like that to me. A lot of people just think that you can't do anything on the bike, but I beg to differ. I've gone through some pretty crazy stuff, and you're not going to be the first one in the pack by any means, but you'll get through it. Anything that a WR250R can go through, and you put the right rider on this bike, he's going to be right behind that WR250. So it's a good bike. Like I said, a little heavy, seat's a little hard, but I mean, for $5,500 like I got, and you can get a used one. I've seen used ones like a 13 or 14 for like $3,500 with just 2,000 miles on them. You can get a used one that's just like brand new and save you a bunch of money. I wasn't able to do that. I had to try to finance through a dealer so I could get one. I didn't have the cash in hand. That's kind of another downfall, unless you can go through your bank and get a personal one or whatever, but it's another video for another day. But yeah, 6-speed transmission, fuel injected, liquid cooled. That's good, guys. There isn't anything wrong with it. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff to this video or to the bike and make it a whole lot better than what it is without spending a whole bunch of money. I mean, like I said, I got a 13-tooth sprocket, front sprocket on order. Power Core 4 is on its way as well. I may do a little bit to the air box, but I don't know. I take it through a lot of mud, so I don't really want to suck up a whole bunch of mud into the engine. But yeah, guys, this is it. It's a good bike. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, you know, when you're riding on the road, you're not gonna feel like a complete badass or whatever, like on a Road King, but I mean, it gets you to your spot. I think you're fed off. Trying to make a video saying how good the bike is, and his fucking blinker's coming off. Good bike. Definitely a good bike. I think it gets like 60, 70 miles a gallon, give or take. I mean, I take care of the bike. I change the oil and everything, but by no means do I baby it. But I do, I mean, I take care of the maintenance on it. One thing that I was really surprised at was the front brakes. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's the second set of pads that I've had in 1,000 miles, and they got some wear on them. I mean, from the factory, obviously it comes with the Honda brand pads. Well, at like, I don't know, 800 miles, the pads were completely wore out. I mean, there was no pad life left on them whatsoever. I mean, it was literally metal on metal. So I got new pads for it, and I put the rear ones on. The rear ones are EVCs. Again, I don't know if you can really pick that up or not. Yeah, they got a decent amount of life left in them. I mean, they got a lot of life left in them. And I put the EVCs and the Honda pads on at the same time. And they only got a couple hundred miles on them. As you can see, the front ones are definitely like wearing a lot faster than the rear. Now, I don't. At first, I thought that maybe my calipers were sticking. But after riding them for like 50 consecutive miles, I would get off the bike and touch the rotors, and they weren't hot to the touch. I mean, they were cool to the touch. So that rules out caliper sticking more than likely. So I don't know. And then I thought that maybe the pads that come on it from the factory were, defective. So I couldn't find a set of EBC fronts for it, so I had to get Honda fronts for it. That's why they're mixed matched. But they're wearing just as fast as the ones out of the factory. Now I looked it up on the forums and stuff, and I can't find anybody that says that they had problems with the brake pads. So I don't know if it's just me or what it is, but as you can see, the EVCs are wearing a lot better than what the Honda pads are. That brings it to another thing. The brakes on this thing, I mean, they'll stop you, but they're not great. I mean, they're not super strong brakes or whatever, but I'll probably wind up swapping out the rotors and maybe try to get some different calipers or something. As soon as the aftermarket starts making calipers, I don't think I've been able to find any calipers as of now. It's December 27th, 2017. I've seen rotors, good looking rotors that I think would probably make a big difference, but I haven't seen calipers. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, guys, it's a good bike. It's not perfect by any means, but like I said, if you want to go somewhere off-road, this bike will take you. It'll definitely take you. Like I said, it's got its downfalls. It's heavy. It's a little tall. Now, the weight of it is when you'll feel it when you drop it. Like I said, people that is way smaller stature or weaker or maybe have some health problems, I would probably lean towards something that's a little bit lighter, like the XT250 or the DR200. They're a little bit lighter and probably a lot easier to pick up. That's when you really, really feel the weight on this bike, is when you drop it. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and great bike. Don't sweep it under the rug if you're concerned looking at a dual sport or whatever. Just keep it in mind. All right, guys, over and out. Another thing I wanted to quickly say real quick was that me and my fiance, probably not strongly recommended, but we ride it together. She'll ride on the back. I mean, it's got the foot pegs already right here for a passenger, like freaking most street legal bikes would. But I think the weight capacity, if I remember correctly, don't hold me to it, but I think it's around like 370, 80 pounds. But with us combined, we're probably like 340, 350. If she sees this video, she'll probably kill me. I don't even know how much she really weighs. I think she weighs like 140. But yeah, we're probably about like 320, 330. Anyways, yeah, we ride it. I mean, I wouldn't take it across country with both of us on here. But I mean, I've gotten it up to 60 miles an hour with her on the back. I mean, it does fine. It really does. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you have somebody you want to throw on the back or whatever, I mean, it'll do it. It'll do it for sure. All right.
Should have busted ass. I will. Take me a little bit longer. Hell yeah.